Oh, hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to Horrible Horror. Tough guy, so bad, it's scary.
Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Happy Valentine's Day, Moon Goons. This is Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. I'm your host, Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, is Aaron, Mr. I don't even know why I'm introducing. He can introduce himself. Aaron, how you doing? Introduce yourself.
I'm Aaron Southworth.
Yeah,
and I have
fucking this all up
I
for
have
some
a
reason.
special short bus Valentine with me today. It's Marshall.
I did definitely ride the short bus to today's episode. Something's wrong with me. Anyway, today is not a normal full episode. Today, because we had a little bit of Aaron was down with the flu.
Big time down with the flu,
It
man.
knocked him out like a punch from Mike Tyson.
Oh, Kid Dynamite. Bam.
Bam. So we're gonna try something a little different today because we still wanted to bring you something. We're gonna do our first ever horrible horror movie face-off showdown battle to the death.
Compare and contrast.
Yeah, we're basically just gonna take My Bloody because it's Valentine's Day. We're doing
But since it's Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
we took My Bloody Valentine,
Yes.
1981
81.
and 2009.
That's right, and we're pinning him, put him in a cage. Two shall enter, one shall leave. No, not really, but, but we're basically going to kind of talk about for the first time the original movie and its remake, and kind of see which one, how they stack up, do they hold up to this day, and just kind of our opinions on the two different ones, and we're just going to see how this goes. It may suck, it may not.
It's a little looser, a little more free ball. So let us know. Let us know how you feel about it. So you can always check us out at our podcast, at our Jesus, I am still getting over the flu, guys. Man, we're falling all over. Check it out at our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @SoBadIt'sScary. And of course, we're coming into your eardrums right now. But tell your friends. They can always also listen to us at our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com. You can check us out on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and now for Valentine's Day, we're also on iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
What? Did you hear that, motherfuckers? We're on iHeartRadio. And we're also on Speaker.com.
Speaker.com and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, man, we're coming into your ear holes from all over. As Marshall would say, we're going to keep you airtight.
Yes, we are.
In so many ways.
All righty. So, like I said, this is going to be real freeform, so who knows how this is going to turn out. But like I said, we're going to break down My Bloody Valentine, the original and the remake. So, like we said, the original was 1981, and it's deemed a classic. It is held dearly in many people's hearts.
I mean, this is one of the first movies. I mean, yes, there were slasher movies, but this kind of really helped solidify the genre.
Yeah, I mean, it helped. I mean, it was in the boom, right at the beginning of the slasher boom. I think it came out after Friday 13th was, I think, 80, I believe, the original. After Halloween, but before Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
And then all the other ones that came out. So I will say it was maybe, I don't know if it was necessarily ahead of its time, because it kind of was maybe helped kick off the whole slasher boom, partly, but I definitely think I don't know. I guess, like I said, people think this is a true classic.
Yeah.
But what do you think about it? I mean, do you think it's really worthy of that lofty classic status?
It's missing maybe some elements of I guess the iconic, of obviously the more iconic ones. You know, Jason. Now, Friday 13th was just Mrs. Myers. Was just Pamela Voorhees.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Sorry, Myers. Flu, guys. Remember, flu.
All right.
So,
Blame it on
but
flu,
it was just Pamela Voorhees.
Well, yeah, but that was a twist at the end. I mean,
And-
you didn't know that going
Yes,
into
yes,
it.
but it was a human.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going. It was
Okay.
a human. Michael Myers was, yes, he was a human, but he was almost like superhuman because he even got shot and fell off the edge and he was gone. He was still alive.
I will argue that in the first
Mm-hmm.
movie, he wasn't really portrayed too much as being supernatural. He was still
Right.
more human-esque in the very first one.
Yeah, I would say I would maybe consider him an enhanced human or superhuman,
There
or
you go.
maybe or just like so evil he's more than human.
Yeah, or
you
just
know?
maybe he's on a shitload of PCP.
But yeah. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre because that came out what 77.
That came out. Yeah, that came out. I want to say 77. That
Yeah.
came out before Halloween.
Yeah, and but that was a whole family. So they were all like such weird characters, like interesting characters. This
Okay, I see
this
where you're
was
going.
a human. This is like all about a human. And they talked about what was the guy's name? Crap.
The killer.
Yeah, the killer.
Yeah, Henry Warden or Henry
Yes,
Ward or something like that.
Henry Ward. Yeah. Because they had him. He was the guy.
Yeah.
And this one was different also because it was 20 years later. Valentine's Day or My Bloody Valentine. The story goes that there was an explosion in the mine shaft. The supervisors weren't paying attention.
Okay, well let's talk. Yeah, there's two kind of different origin stories. If you they change up a little bit. In the first one, like you said,
You know what? I realized I didn't answer your question. Do I think it's worthy of being classic? I think it's really good. I don't think it's classic.
Interesting. I'm kind of on the same boat. I don't like. I watch them. I don't. I kind of see why people like it so much. And is it bad? No, it's not bad. But is it worthy of its lofty status? I don't really know either because it never spawned any sequels like so many others did, which isn't necessarily the golden measuring stick by
And
any
it's set
means.
up for a sequel.
It is. They set it up, but it just it never came to fruition for one reason or another. But I don't know. I just don't know if I hold it as high up in my, I guess, ranking pantheon, if you will, as so many other people do. But it holds its own.
How did it do in the box office?
Oh,
Do we know that?
I can't
Because
look that up.
that may have been one of the reasons it didn't it didn't launch a sequel. Perhaps it just didn't have a strong showing, and throughout the years and horror fans watching it, they just it became more famous out of market than in its actual
here we go.
market.
The budget for the original 1981 movie was $2,300,000, and that's Canadian dollars because it was shot in Canada.
Loons.
And it grossed in the United States, and it only grossed $5,672,000 change.
In 81 money.
In
That's
81
not
money.
bad.
It made money, but I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't I guess you wouldn't call
Right.
it any big blockbuster, but it did make its money.
It was no Texas Chainsaw. It was no Halloween. It was no Friday 13th.
And maybe that's another reason why it didn't get to it, because it was competing against the Friday the 13th franchise and the Halloween franchises. But again, Halloween or Friday the 13th just kicked off, so it's not like it was in the midst of and if that came out in 80, I'm not sure when Friday the 13th Part 2 came out. I'm pretty sure it might have came out in 81 because they cranked those fuckers out once a year.
Yeah, they did.
So maybe there was some competition in the theaters between some of these other ones, and it just kind of came up short. Maybe or maybe maybe they didn't release it at the same time. Which one was smart? They released it around Valentine's Day, which they probably did or should have done. I'm sure Friday the 13th was released more around Halloween time, October-ish. So there you go. It made its money back, and it made money. It made a profit. Okay. So the original one, the story, you said that the guys, there's two supervisors who slack off, and the mine.
They want to get to the dance.
There's a big Valentine's. In the original movie, it takes place in a town called Valentine Bay or Valentine's Bay or something, and they are fucking.
Was it Harmony?
That's the second one.
Okay.
The second one takes place in Harmony, and both of them are supposed to be Pennsylvania because that's the big mining coal belt and all that. So the first one, yes, Valentine's Bay, and they have super boners for Valentine's Day. There.
Fuck yeah,
they
do.
go crazy ape shit for Valentine's Day.
Man, they're gonna have the big dance.
Which is another thing. I guess
Well, it was 1960.
Okay, you're right. At that point, we're looking at the time. It's 60. So okay, that I can
And it
buy.
was
this
it was
still.
1960.
Yeah.
Is when this event took place.
Right. So
The
everyone wants to
supervisors are fucking off.
Yeah, they want to get back to time dance. Mine explosion in the mine.
Or collapse in the mine.
Collapses and like caves in like
Traps
6 people or
6
something.
people.
Like Henry Warden being one of them.
Didn't they say they took 6 weeks to unbury them?
Yeah, they'd be dead.
6 weeks, and
They'd be
the
totally
only
dead.
one they found surviving was Henry, and they showed him eating the
I
remains of the
love
other
that.
one.
I love when
Yeah.
that's one thing they don't do in the remake is show that scene. But when he turned cannibal to survive,
Yes.
which makes sense. I mean,
I guess
gotta
you
do-
could survive then, really.
No, because
We're getting some rotten meat after a while.
I don't know about water, man. You
Well,
don't
you're
have
drinking
water.
blood. I mean, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Unless they're yeah, the water would be the problem. Yeah, that'd be the major problem.
But so I love the shot that they show him like eating an arm and then like, and then somebody shines like one of those miner hats up while he's all. I did love that.
He looks feral.
Yeah, he's gone feral. And then he comes back and he kills a bunch of people and then he's shot and killed and believed dead or whatever.
1 year later, he returns because he goes to an insane asylum
Yeah.
for a year, and then he comes back the next year on the same day, and he commits these murders at the before the Valentine's party, or he cuts out hearts
Yeah, he
of
cuts
the
out people's
people and
hearts.
puts them in the
Chocolate boxes.
chocolate
big
boxes
heart-shaped
with the
chocolate
hearts.
boxes.
And he says, "No more Valentine's Day on my watch, motherfuckers."
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm canceling the entire holiday. And I don't even know if it's a holiday. It's just like no more Valentine's dance.
Yeah.
Because it's the dancer's fault. The supervisor just wanted to get
Yeah,
to the dance. And they
yeah.
slacked off. So you will not have another dance in this town ever again. So that premise.
No more fun.
So a little, yeah, that's a little weak premise. So like, motivation.
He's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know. I will say one thing about another thing about both movies is surprisingly lack thereof of boobs. You only just keep there's only one set of boobs in both movies. Each movie has one set. It's better than the second one,
Yeah,
the remake, much
yeah.
much better.
A whole lot more of the one
Yeah,
set
but
in the first.
they both were 80s slasher movies at that time. Only one set of boobs in each movie, so you're not gonna get your boobie filled on these. That's for sure.
But they're there.
They are there,
And that's okay.
yeah. There's a scene, the opening scene, like afterwards, like we see two miners. This in the first one,
yeah.
where they're coming down. They're working. Like, okay, these two miners walk
They're
around.
both wearing coveralls, complete miner gear with the gas masks
Yeah, the
on,
gas mask.
the lantern helmets.
And then one just strips out, and it's a girl underneath this thing, and she's like takes her top off, and is like, phew, and like, what? And then
Yeah.
and this guy's like. And she turns to the guy. She's like, she wants to fuck this guy in the mine. And the guy's like, no, you're not taking off my mask. And she's like, whatever. And he just like kills
Dude,
her.
she strokes his like the mask.
The air pipe. The
Dude,
air
she's
hose.
really like they show that for like 30 seconds. She's like
Jerked-
giving it
yeah.
a good work.
She jerked her off the air hose from the gas mask to whatever.
I'm like, I get it. All right, enough.
But yeah, it's like, and then the guy just kills her. Like, that's so weird. Like,
Yeah.
why would you bring her down here just to kill her? And why did she not know she was going down there? Was she just like, I'm just gonna fuck some random guy? Like, why did you go down here?
There's
with this
so
guy?
much work goes
I know.
into that.
I know. It's like so weird. Like, what?
Ugh.
But I think the opening, and then, we have to mention this about the remake. The remake was the first movie released with the new 3D special effects, like
Yes.
the high end 3D, not the shitty 3D we saw in like.
So the same
80s.
kind of 3D that like launched Avatar. And,
Yeah, like it was the
all-
stuff that
and,
led
like,
to that kind of
yes,
3D. It
yes.
still wasn't that level as,
No,
but
it
it
wasn't.
was the
Avatar
first one
was
that,
some badass 3D, but
it was the first one that brought 3D back into the fold.
Because even, dude, if you watch the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it says My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Yeah, in 3D.
And man, do they fucking beat you about the head
Yeah,
and
they do.
shoulders
Oh
with
my
3D
God,
shit.
so much
Oh
stuff.
god!
And when you watch it in non 3D, it's almost comical. You can like clearly spot out 3D.
Yeah.
That's 3D. That's 3D. They wow, did they go? Like we were they're going all in on the 3D effects on that movie.
Yeah, Devon get the tables. Devon get the 3D special effects.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! All you see is it's like you see it coming a mile away too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like you said before, because we were talking about this earlier. It felt like you're watching like a 2000s wrestling match, like with the Dudley boys coming up and like 3D. Oh.
I swear I did that. I'm watching the movie by myself, which makes it even stupider because I'm by myself.
3D.
But I'm just on the couch yelling 3D every time an effect would happen. And then the opening credits are the first thing that started through. It's like these newspaper clippings that are like
flying in
they're
from
flying,
weird, big bold letters way out in front of the
So I will say they got their fucking money's worth with that 3D.
Fuck yeah, they did.
So okay, well, let's stay on top of 3D. And how do you think it, like, I know you didn't watch it 3D. I remember watching it in 3D when it first came out on DVD in 2009 because you could rent it into 3D because they had a 3D version you could rent and it came with the glasses.
Really?
If you're lucky, people weren't assholes and didn't return the glasses. But yeah, there was a way I remember watching it in 3D.
So you could watch it on a regular television set?
You had, yeah.
With the,
Well, it was formatting. You still had to wear like those stupid like
well, yeah,
red and blue 3D glasses or whatever. But I want to say I think I watched it in 3D. I'm pretty sure I did.
Huh.
But how do you think it would have held up? Do you think? I mean, you could tell basically when you knew what was 3D. Was it?
Yeah.
Was it worth the effort? Did it add anything to the movie for you?
No. It's a fucking gimmick. 3D televisions. Who the fuck has those now? Remember when they first came out? It's like, oh man, everyone's gonna have bullshit. You gotta wear these goddamn glasses to watch TV?
Yeah.
How annoying is that?
Yeah.
3D is a total gimmick. Every once in a while, I'll still go see a movie with 3D and I'll just put on the glasses. Fine.
I'll occasionally see a movie in 3D in theater, but only like the super block, like the Avengers movies, basically any Marvel movie. I'll go see those in 3D, but that's about it.
To be perfectly honest, I could do without it. I'm not a
Star
big
Wars
fan.
is still in 3D.
I think it's kitschy. I'm not a huge fan.
I understand. It's even weirder for me. It's harder for me to appreciate because they don't really take into account people who wear glasses and 3D glasses. So I have to wear glasses on top of glasses, and it doesn't really give you the same effect.
No,
everything's slightly off.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
Yeah,
but I will give them an A for effort. They milked the shit out of it, and they did. There's that one kill in the remake that's where they rip the guy's jaw off and the jaw comes flying at the screen with the blood. I mean that was probably would have been a pretty cool effect.
Yes, the sheriff or the former sheriff,
the retired sheriff,
played
by Tom motherfucking Atkins, by the way.
Right? Yeah, I saw that.
Tom
and I was
Atkins
like, that's badass.
Yeah, from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch fame,
and also Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
Who also played another sheriff in that. Or at least a cop, yeah. But it was interesting because that's the same type of kill that we talked about in Pool Party Massacre when
in a lot of other movies. Drew Marvick's wife gets the hammer.
Because we talked about that. We even said, would that necessarily kill her? It would hurt a whole lot. We don't know if it necessarily kill. And then you said, well, if he pulled the jaw off, yeah, that would definitely kill. And that's exactly what happened.
That is what happened.
That's exactly what happened here. This pickaxe goes through the mouth. He's running around going, blood's flying everywhere. Looks great. And he pulls on the pickaxe as hard as he can, ripping the jaw forward, and the jaw comes flying at you, and blood kind of goes off to the right of the screen in this really crazy 3D effect.
And the 3D blood, the 3D blood's the worst part of it.
It just looks so weird.
It looks weird and fake, but the jaw. And then most of the rest of the 3D effects is like, oh god, here's a tree branch coming right at you.
Oh
or
god. Or the pickaxe to the back of the head, and the eyeball.
Oh, the eyeball pop out. That was actually pretty good. And then the eyeball gets sucked back into that. I would say but that reminded me so much of I bet that was an homage to the Friday 13th one,
right?
Where because that was a 3D one where the eyeball comes out in Friday 13th too.
Exactly.
So it had to be an homage to Friday 13th. So. We're gonna say 3D kind of unnecessary, just a gimmick. Doesn't really add, but it doesn't necessarily take away from the movie.
No,
either.
but it doesn't take away, but it definitely makes you realize that you're watching a 3D movie.
It definitely does, especially if you're not
It's
watching
not
it.
subtle.
If you're not, yeah, it is not
There's
subtle.
no subtlety.
No subtlety. All right, so we're riding the roller coaster with the kills here. Like I will say, the kills in the remake, loved them.
Yeah.
There were some great kills. Some of the best kills I've seen in a long time, and that's a movie that's almost 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Just superb kills.
That
I
is
would say.
saying something. I mean, they did have some really good kills. I like the kills. The jaw rip one, that was great.
One of my favorite ones, I loved it, was like one of the earliest kills in the movie. Is this girl in the mine at the party? She gets a squared off shovel like through her mouth.
Yes.
And then he like hammers it in, and it just splits her head in half, and you see it kind of slide.
And as the eyes close,
Yeah,
it was like really
or
well
like
done.
roll back her head. It was an amazing kill. Like I haven't seen a kill that good in a very, very long time. The special effects on that were amazing. Like it held up. So I was like, holy shit! Like this is awesome. So the kills in that movie were great. There's also they did some stuff to again tie back to the original one. They both had the kill with that included the dryer,
yeah.
which I mean, I
kind of dryer do they have?
yeah. First of all, in the original one, the woman's killed before she's even put in the dryer. She's already dead, and he just puts in the dryer for effect. But these aren't. Neither one of these dryers are like industrial, like dryers you can see like a prison or a hospital. These giant ones. They're like your basic Kenmore fucking dryers you can have in your house. I don't know how you fit a full size person in one of those things easily. Put it on the spin cycle and have a thing that continue to spin and not break.
Yeah.
And then just happen to have the body fall out perfectly when you open the door.
Well, it's got to have effect.
I get that, but if you crammed a whole fucking human in there, they wouldn't just fall out when you open it. They'd be so crammed in there, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of kicks it, because you're right. It would probably break. You know, it probably wouldn't be able to spit like there. You know, I mean, you put 100 pounds. Let's just say 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be spinning that thing around, and it. Plus, I'm assuming the maid or the housekeeper was killed prior to be putting into the.
Yeah, you don't really
dryer.
see it. You see,
because honestly, you get put in the dryer, and you're like, oh man, it's getting pretty hot. Is he gone? Okay, good. Push the door open.
Kick it open. Just kick it open.
Yeah.
Well, you might not be able to kick it because you don't have room. But yeah, you could probably push it hard enough to open from the inside. And I've seen, I don't want to say everybody, but I've seen videos online where they put like a fucking cinder block in a dryer and watch it go fucking crazy all over the place. Granted, it's not as large as human, but I mean, think about just the weight of one cinder block, and then you add the weight of an entire human. You're telling me the washer's not going to go
cinder
fucking
block's
crazy.
about 25 pounds.
That's 25 pounds.
So you put 4 of those in there, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to fucking break pieces.
I can't imagine. But the effects, though, of the make effects of when we review were both pretty good.
Yes.
For their time, especially in the 80s. For their time,
Right.
it's pretty damn good makeup effect.
Mm-hmm.
And
the kills in 81, I kind of like them too.
I'm trying to think of any ones that really stuck out in my head from the original that really... Because I'm having a hard time with that, because most of the kills, like the remake, the kills really stuck out because they were so good. Some were pretty creative, at least for the time. Whereas the 81 ones, I'm like, nothing's really popping out in my head too much as being that.
They had, pickaxe to the head. Hollis got nail gunned.
The nail gun,
times.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, the nail gun to the back of the head.
Mhm.
And then the couple having sex got literally screwed to death with a giant screw or something like that.
Yeah, and then, but you never saw that. You saw the aftermath.
Yeah.
The one gal got her head spiked through the shower, so when the guy came to find her,
and the shower,
her mouth, it's coming out of her mouth. That was kind of cool.
Like, that one was, I will say, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That one was pretty awesome.
The guy getting drowned in the hot dog water,
which I want to say, didn't somebody get drowned or burnt in this remake too? I want to say somebody, it happened to somebody else too, but I don't remember.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty lame.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just threw him in the fridge or something like that.
Yeah, the other ones were like, pickaxe to the chest, pickaxe to the head. It wasn't.
Yeah, again, I know at 81 they're limited by what they can do practically and effect-wise in FCG, and they didn't have all the effects.
They didn't have 3D!
But so definitely got to give the edge on the kills to 2009.
I would agree.
But it's hard, like I said, it's really hard to kind of compare times. I didn't realize how hard this was going to be when I thought about doing this, because
it's almost 30 years.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, so much changes in the technology-wise that it's not necessarily. I'm trying very hard to take the 81 version and just isolate it into its own time period,
right,
and see how it holds up. But it's a little more difficult than I thought it would be. We're comparing these two. I will say, let's talk about the overall cast of characters then. Our people.
Okay.
Really, the only main connection between them is, both movies have an Axel, both movies have a Sarah, and both movies have a Hanniger son that comes back. In the remake, it's Tom, and in the original, it's, I think, TJ. So maybe it could be Tom, but they call him TJ.
Yeah.
Both of them are their daddies own the mine, and then they come back later after the tragedy. And other than that, that's really about it. There's no other real characters. Each one has a sheriff involved, but there's really no other connection.
And then like the mayor type or owner of the mine, or there was the mayor type in 2009, the guy who got drunk and got his head kicked under the spike. Remember, he had the shotgun.
Was that the mayor? I was trying to remember who that was. If that was the mayor, or if that
he
was
wasn't. They never really said.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was
the
mayor. Or I thought he was like some kind of like rich investor in the mine or something like that.
Yeah, he was a shareholder of the mine. I think he had
because he was all like butthurt that Tom comes back. I'm going to sell the mine. Like, you can't do that to us.
The town depends on the mine.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. But
yeah, he had something to do with the mine, because he said, I am so sorry, I keep coughing, but he even said, I'm going to sell my shares, and there's a written clause that all the miners still have jobs, all management will stay on. Well, it has written on will stay on for an extended period of time. It goes, that could be 3 months.
In the original, in the remake, they say they just call it that people get a full severance package.
That's right. Yeah.
But like for the ones who do get laid, but then the upper management people were going to get stayed on. So you're right.
So I guess he had something to do with the mine, but those were the characters. But you know what 2009 didn't have? Fucking Hollis.
You liked Hollis, huh?
Loved Hollis. Come on. That guy was awesome. Big husky motherfucker with a beautiful mustache and the hottest bitch in town. Oh my God, that guy was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and okay, well, also, and then the love triangle issue is there in both of them too. Where originally Sarah's with Tom or TJ, he leaves, and then Sarah ends up with Axel, and then Tom, TJ come back, and all sort, the love triangle.
Exactly, yeah. So they kind of kept that going, but man, I think they really missed an opportunity with some of the character development, because I felt like the characters in 81 you could kind of identify with. Man, they were having fucking fun.
It was pure A's.
Dude, it was a great time. What a time to be alive in 81 working at the coal mine.
There were a lot more characters in the 81 version.
Yeah, there was George, and I think there was another guy.
I'll tell you who I couldn't stand and he's in every fucking 80s movie, especially 80s horror movie. Every one of there's a character like this. It's the goofy, supposed to be funny
prankster
guy
type
who always has he's always like the skinny guy, and he's always got the goofy look on his face. And that's supposed to be funny. He's like, dude!
Yeah,
and you can't see the face to make it, but he just pops up and he just makes weird noises and weird face. And this is supposed to be considered the comedy relief, and every 80s horror, and even 80s movie in general. I hate that character, that trope, that character type. I'm sick. I'm like, God, just kill this guy.
I think that was George.
May have been George. Just kill him. I was like, God, I could. Yeah. Hey guys.
But he was. You're right. There was always that character, but this is 81, so they were still figuring things out. But man, it looked like they were having such a good fucking time. They got off work on a Wednesday, and as soon as they got off, they're like, "We're last one to the bar buys drinks."
And they're like drag racing through the town to the bar,
hauling ass to the bar.
That is just some really unsafe driving. Right there. That's some risky.
They're all playing grab ass in the shower. I mean,
That was weird. Yeah. Bunch of naked dudes playing grab ass in the shower.
Who doesn't want to work in the mines, man? It looks like they're having a great time.
Yeah, there's definitely more. Yeah, a lot more fun-loving characters and more partying going on. In
Better
the 80s
character. I felt like there was. It was definitely a. I could relate more to the 81, like the feel for it, or just like I felt like more invested in the characters. They felt more real.
Well,
I felt like I wasn't necessarily watching. Like they didn't feel forced or tacked on. You know, I mean, I liked them. I like the characters a lot more.
With the exception of George, who I think was pretty, he's the shtick guy. He's the kind of guy. He was one-dimensional. I don't know. Like I kind of like both equally yet differently. What you said exactly. Like there were more characters that you could, I'm going to say interact with, but you could get to know. There's more people, more interactions amongst them. Where in the remake, there's less characters, but they focus more on the fewer characters and get more into their personalities, their backstories, their relationships a bit more. Where in the other ones where you can't really do that because there's so many, and you just kind of like, okay, you kind of know who they are, and you get they're all friends in this group, but there's nothing deeper about them.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't need that. Because
that's true.
It's a horror
it
movie,
is a horror movie and a slasher.
And
so
slasher movie. Yeah. And you know what? Hollis, man. Again, that's all I'm going to say. Fucking Hollis.
I guess that body count wise, though, I mean, yeah, we had more fodder in the 81 version, but in the remake, there's probably almost a higher body count, even though a lot of them you don't see. You
absolutely.
See the aftermath, but man, there's.
But I mean, that opening scene where he's at the party, he's just slaughtering people left and right.
Which
in 2009, in the 2009 one, he goes to the party, and he's
even in the hospital, you see the aftermath at the hospital, and it's just like there's like 20 people. How this guy kills an entire hospital by himself and gets away with it is complete bullshit. It's beyond me.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I mean, there's you see 15 dead bodies in a hospital,
and all in very close proximity.
Yeah, like you tell me nobody ran away, escaped,
nobody tried to.
And he's doing this with who knows what, because he doesn't have a pickaxe at the time. Who knows what he's killing him with?
He's been in a coma for a year.
Exactly, his muscle would be so atrophied. He'd be like, no.
Yeah.
And then he still has the time to cut out everybody's hearts, too, before the cops show up.
Right?
It's like, what?
And there's security and probably even a police officer or two at the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, when I
cool.
saw that.
I mean, visually, like, yeah, okay, cool. But it's like, yeah, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. And then this, just like that, fucking gears up and goes right to the mine to go kick some more ass.
Yeah, it goes right where he kills 6 or 7 more kids at a party.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 27? Didn't they say it was 27 people killed?
I thought it was 22, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, 22, sure.
Yeah, I think it was 22. And that's before the actual movie that really starts. So that's like the kills. Of him escaping the hospital, all that, and then
Jesus Christ,
and then that Henry they shoot him, and they think they kill him. They cave in. Oh, he's dead again. He caved in, and they think he's dead. So there's their similarities. Let's talk about some of the differences. Mainly, the big change is obviously the killers in each one. They changed the killer in the remake from the original. But for some idiots who haven't seen these movies yet, spoiler alerts, in 5, 4, 3, 2, you've been warned, but you should have seen these movies a long time ago. Anyway.
You've already spoiled a lot of shit anyway.
Yeah, but the killer in the first one is Axel. Mm-hmm. And the killer in the remake is Tom Hollinger. Hollinger? Whatever. So they changed that, and first of all, how do you react? What do you think about Axel as the killer in the first one? And did they do a good enough job explaining why? Because I had issues with that one.
Well, I don't know why. Why was he?
Okay. See, I don't
even know why it was killer.
Yeah, to me it was so glossed over. He did so goddamn fast. It was like,
did I blink?
Yeah.
Because you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I mean, I was sick all day when I watched it, so I was a little fucked up. But I watched both of them back to back, and yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, why you do all this shit?
There's a scene like at the end of the movie, like I'm trying to remember if it, like it's at the end, and like he's already been revealed to be the killer, and then he does something, and it's like when the cops show up or something. It was Axel, and he's like Axel, and then like the sheriff is like, oh, he basically in the opening scene where Henry Ward comes back and kills people after the explosion. You see, there's a scene where he kills like this man in the mirror, and it turns out baby Axel as a kid is like hiding under the bed and watches his dad get killed by Henry.
Axel's father was one of the supervisors.
Yes, one of the supervisors.
Who was killed by Henry. Like, and yes, baby Axel saw it, and it traumatized him. And now, for some reason...
Yeah, he decides to go killing everybody else.
When it doesn't make any sense, because he's lived an entirely productive life for over 20 years. He's got a job. He's got a girlfriend. He's got friends. Mm-hmm. He's a productive member of society. Everybody likes him. He's had no inkling or, like... Yeah. It's not like he's the outcast or the weird guy.
That's my issue with this.
And
that's
just
exactly my issue.
That... And he's like having like a fight back and forth with TJ about Sarah. Like he's a normal guy.
The whole thing started because TJ came back into town, and now I have to kill everybody.
They're gonna have a dance again. Yeah,
I thought it was very weak. Mm-hmm. Like I was very disappointed in that part. Like actually, you're fine, but do a better job of explaining why or. Because, the entire movie, you don't see there's no, like, foreshadowing. There's no, like, little hints or indication that Axel is the killer. Maybe until the ending, it gets a little more,
but even then, killer, but it's like, it's tough to do because...
He's just so happy and jolly, though. Like, with the exception that he doesn't like TJ, but with everybody else, he's like, yeah, Mr. Party Man.
Buds,
everybody's... He's friendly with all of his friends.
He's a fucking foreman on the mining crew, so he's got his shit together.
Like if you're that messed up, why work in the mine? I get it, you're telling maybe that's the only where everybody works, but it's like work at the bartender. Which, by the way, the bartender in the original one, holy cow!
What a fucking stick in the mud.
Oh Jesus!
The worst bartender ever.
Yeah, he is. He hates all the kids, and he's the one who does like the whole. Well, its mines are cursed because this is why. And let me tell you something. And then he gives you like the 10-minute flashback of everything. Like, damn kids, like take over his job. Work in the bar. Work in the post office.
Have fun being a bartender
cop or something. You don't have to work in the mine. But I really hated the reveal of that.
Yeah.
Now as for the remake. The killer is Tom, and I think they do a better job they definitely do a better job of explaining it, and you can kind of.
And to be perfectly honest, I liked it.
Yeah, it made more sense.
Yeah,
they
it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
because you find out he's been gone for 10 years.
Yeah, after the original Henry Warden killings, he leaves. But it's also we need to notice that Tom was basically in the role of the supervisor in the first one. Tom, it was his fault for the explosion in the mine in the remake. Because you see there's a very, very short scene of Henry talking to Tom. And the first time I watched it, I didn't realize it was Tom. But and then the second, like, oh, okay, it's Tom. It gets hard to me. But Tom's in the cage, like, and Henry's like, you got this. You remember, do this. And he's like, don't tell me my job. I know what to do.
You got to bleed the lines.
Yeah. And then the explosion, y'all was like, I forgot to bleed them. I forgot to bleed the lines, causing the explosion. So Tom is the reason for the explosion. And then he leaves after the first set of murders. And go ahead. You were saying.
He comes back 10 years later.
Yeah.
Some point in the movie, you find out that Tom, during those 10 years, has spent 7 in a mental institution.
Right.
Okay, so that's a big fucking chunk of time to be in a mental institution. 7 fucking years?
Yeah.
That's huge. You got some major motherfucking problems if you've been in a mental institution for 7 fucking years. So, when the reveal comes who the murderer is, Tom is thoroughly convinced that it's Axel. Axel's the murderer. Axel's the killer. Yeah. Axel's the killer. And then...
What? I was just saying, but at this point, they do a better job of doing like the mystery. Like, is it Tom? Because at this point, if you're like, okay, is it Axel or is it Tom? And they weave the
The web.
The web better. Like there's parts where you're like, okay, it is Axel because they build it up. You see things like they do shot for it. You see shots of Axel like glaring at people, not looking real like thrilled or, and they have that seed of doubt with Axel, and then the whole movie Tom's like the nice guy, the hero, but then there's a few things here and there like don't really add up. Whereas in the first one, you kind of and the TJ's first of all. We might come back to this. Never mind. I'm writing a note here, and we're going to come back to it. But they do a much better job of kind of planting that seed of doubt in the viewer in the remake than they do in the first one. And the reveal as Tom as a killer, I think, was much more. Even though Axel, you wouldn't suspect it. Actually, you're not supposed to, but because of his personality. But the reveal of Tom, I think, was more impactful.
Oh yeah, because I love the way they did it because Tom was thoroughly convinced. He wasn't that Axel was a killer, and then you see him like the walls of his mental stability, the walls to come crashing down. He's like, "Oh my fucking god, I'm the killer!" And then it shows like all these like scenes that were in the movie where this is where he this is where he made this kill, this is how he made this kill, this is how he did this. It all adds up, and he can tell he's like, "Fuck!" He's like really traumatized by this.
Yeah, for sure. I actually like it. There's a shot at the end where Tom is now hunting Axel and Sarah through the mine, and I like it. He's walking down the mine shaft, and every time he's got his pickaxe, and he smashed the light, and every time he smashed the light, it'd flash between Tom and then Henry or him as the killer.
Yes.
And it flashed back and forth. I liked it. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was very cool.
That was very cool. Speaking of that scene. That's the final scene. Axel and Tom are fighting. And fucking Sarah has the gun. And they start fighting. And I'm just like, bitch, walk up behind Tom and shoot him. I was so pissed because they were doing these really long, like, fights over the axe. They're like,
well, like Tom has the pickaxe and Axel has like a shovel,
which was the exact same fighting combination that they used in the first one.
Yes, it is.
So I was like, oh, okay, maybe a little homage to the first one, but still, there's scenes where there's like long periods where she could just easily, just literally stroll on up, to pow.
There was
oh my god!
Before we got the big reveal, there's that showdown like. Where Tom and Axel are both there with Sarah, and Sarah has the gun, and they're like, "No, it's him! No, it's him! Yeah. It's him! And like, well, who's it gonna be? And Axel's like, "Fuck it, shoot both of us!" Then I was like, "Awesome!" Yeah, like, I actually like that. I was like, "That's that's commitment right there." Like, what? I'm not the killer, but fuck it. The only way to save you, because the whole point, like, just Tom, Axel is like. And Sarah's marriage is
now,
kind of
it's
messed
interesting
up.
because now
Axel's
not the killer, but he's a fucking flaw. He's not a hero.
No, he's
not a hero.
He's a flawed man.
He's a fucking asshole. Yeah. One, he's a dick. Two, he's cheating on his wife. He knocked up
Megan. The girl's named Megan.
The girl
who works with Sarah.
Yeah,
at the grocery store.
What a fucking dirtbag. Yeah. He's got like secret.
But he's still like, you know what? Fuck it. I just want you to get out of your life. Shoot us both. That's the only way to get, for this and for you to, make sure you're saved. I'm like, good on you, Axel. Well, there's your saving moment.
Sort of.
But speaking of Axel, okay, he's a sheriff, but of a small town and a small county. I'm sure, very small town. And she works at a fucking grocery store, maybe as a manager or something, but still a very small. It's not like a shop saver, a very small mom and pop grocery store in a small town. But their fucking house is like gigantic,
right?
Like, how the hell do they afford? And they have a maid.
Yeah,
how are they affording that on a cop salary and a grocery store clerk salary?
A fucking maid.
Like, I was like, how are they affording that? I know that makes nothing. It has nothing to do with anything, but it's just something that I popped in my head.
Well, didn't they say Axel, like his father, he inherited, like he had a lot of land? Because remember he had his dad's house.
I don't know. Yeah, actually has like this little itty cabin off somewhere, but I don't say he owned. I'm not saying he was like a fucking like southern plantation man with I have land.
You ain't no man if you ain't got land.
Yeah, like dude, he's got this rundown cabin. It's basically like Jason's shack out on the wood.
Not that bad.
Not that bad, but it's been pretty bad.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe you picked up something I didn't, but no. Okay, yeah, I don't know why the fuck they have that place and a maid. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know how that. But so now the note I wrote down is the acting here. Let's talk about the acting between two movies. Granted, 80s acting is a lot different.
Yes, it is.
But first of all, let's take our main characters, Tom and TJ. Now, Tom actually has played. I'll get this. The guy is from went on. I don't know if he did already, but he went on to do. He starred in Supernatural, the long-running TV show. Jensen Ackles.
Oh man, people love that shit.
Yeah, Supernatural.
Dude, Supernatural was around what 11, 12 seasons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he was on it before this. Like if it started already, or if he did it after this. But he's one of the main brothers of
Jesus
Supernatural.
fucking Christ,
And
that
then-
show was on forever.
So just credit wise and work rate, you gotta give the edge to Jensen because the guy who played TJ only did like 7 other things and never heard of him, and he was fucking awful in the
He was
first one.
Canadian.
I hated TJ. Like his acting was so bad and just cardboard. It just like there's no emotion to him ever. Like
Well, he pouted a lot.
he did pout and just I couldn't stand. I hated him so much. And then Jamie King is in the remake. She played Sarah in the remake. I think she crushed it. I think she was great. Jamie King's kind of a modern day scream queen. She's done some other horror movies too. She was in she was also in another remake. She was in technically, I don't know if you really call it a remake. She was in I guess some consider the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, just called Silent Night, where she played a town sheriff when in that one too.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
She's done some other movies. So again, Jamie King I think was good.
Wasn't Jamie King also Goldie in Sin City?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Goldie and Wendy in Sin City.
Mhm.
Yes.
Love Sin City. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I know that. Let's see, Sin City, Star Wars. Oh, she also does a voice in Clone Wars, Star Wars.
She's done a lot of shit.
She's done a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to I was trying to look at years here when things got when like certain things came out. So yeah, called Silent Night. That's in 2012. So that was after this one. Overall, I'm giving the edge to the remake on the acting. Kurt Smith was good as Axel as opposed to the Neo Affleck. I think Neo Affleck wasn't too bad. And if you liked
specific actors, I'll okay, sure, but overall, the mood,
I'm not talking about mood. We're talking about acting. That's two different things.
I get it, but I hear you. I agree. Okay, yes, the actors were better, but man, I just liked the 81 style better. It was just more fun for me.
80s, it was definitely more open. I would say it was
everything was so moody and brooding and.
It was dark. It was very dark.
Yes, yes. Whereas 81 more light. You know what?
And when we're talking, when we're talking dark, I'm not talking like mood. We're talking actually the movie's dark. It's almost the remake takes almost every scene's at night. Like there's very few day scenes in the movie. Whereas the original there's more day scenes, and plus it's 80s, so everybody's wearing like there's more colors in the clothing. It's just more colorful and bright.
But even the mood in 2009's version was darker. You know, we have the cheating husband. We have the troubled guy who's always wearing dark clothes. I mean, his overcoat everything was dark, and he was troubling. I'm going to sell the mine. Oh, I'm not going to sell the mine.
I wouldn't say earthy.
It seemed darker.
It was browns and greens.
His clothing, fine.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the actual, like, the overall tone. The overall tone of the movie was darker. You know, like, there's infidelity, and there's, you know, like, the town's depressing. You know? Like, I mean, they're both shitty little towns, but man, 1981, man, they want to have a fucking party. You know?
Here, okay. Earlier, I just want to touch on this before I forget. Earlier, I said the budget for the 81 movie was $2,300,000 as Canadian, but you want to take a guess I don't hope you didn't look, but do you want to guess what the budget was for the remake in 2009?
Well, they went 3D.
3D!
It was a big budget. $12 million?
Close. $15 million.
Wow.
And its opening weekend gross, which it opened in January, so I get in right before Valentine's Day. Opening weekend, it grossed $21 million and change.
Wow.
And then its total gross in the USA alone was over 51 million.
Really?
Yeah, and worldwide, it made $100 million in the theaters worldwide.
That's
So,
crazy.
massive hit in the theaters then for the
Holy
remake.
shit.
So honestly, there you go. The box office by far is much bigger. Which I wonder how much of that played off of. I'm not saying it counted for all of it, but maybe like, oh, they're remaking a classic. Let's go see it. Because for this movie, I mean, it's not even close the amount of money this one made over the original.
Crushed.
Like you would think, like, oh, they're remaking this movie. Let's go see it. You almost think the numbers would be kind of similar, but man, it just
dominated.
Dominated. This like that's $100 million worldwide.
I think maybe it kind of goes back to what we said earlier, that the original My Bloody Valentine really got its notoriety post.
Yeah, that's probably a big part. Probably
on
got
the
more
VHS
on
rental
the
circuit.
Yeah.
And,
I think you're right there too. It got its following afterwards. I don't see a release date for the original one right now, so I'm not going to do a deep dive because, well, we're talking.
We're live.
We're doing this live.
Sort
I'm
of.
not
really
I'm
live.
too lazy to edit all this shit out. Fuck it. What did you think about the ending of the original? Was definitely very different. And I'm not talking about who the killer was, but like just how they came to it. Like the original one, it was like the big party scene. Everybody's there. They start finding bodies. You gotta get out of here, get out. And they're partying in the mine again. Whereas in the second one, it's like there's that whole aspect is gone. It's
completely
totally different.
gone. I really liked the 81 finale.
I agree with you. I did too. Like,
there's the big party. They find the bodies, and they're like, "Everyone get out of here! We need to fucking live." And it's more real. Everyone be like, "Get the fuck out!"
Yeah.
And then there's that fucking TJ and Axel are they don't like each other, but they're like, "We have to save our friends
because they're the only we have to go down and
now of course this is before we know Axel's the murderer, but
right.
But man, there's that camaraderie. They're like, I don't like you, but we need to work together and save our friends. Good luck.
Yeah.
They fucking man up and they're going to go save their friends.
I agree. I like the idea of the party at the end of the movie because it's more of a climax. Not a lot. You see, I guess, more 80s horror movies where it kind of builds like the big, where the body count really rises at the end. But I liked it. Like the idea of partying in the mine, there was way more shooting and time in the mines itself in the original one than there was in the remake.
Way more, yeah.
Which kind of adds to the claustrophobia of being trapped in a mine in darkness with stalked by a killer, and that kind of adds to the fear of it. Where in the sequel, the remake, the remake, they're really not in the mines at all. Like in the very beginning, they're in the mines for a party briefly,
and they're on the outskirts of the mine. They're not deep in the mine.
They're just like right at the tunnel
they're
entrance.
Like right at the entrance. So it's like,
and then they go into the mine at the end. For some reason, they're in there. But I don't remember how they got. I think Sarah ran in there to hide or something like that.
Yeah, and again, it's not like you really feel like you're in the mine because when they show Hollis and the girls and George,
they take you on an adventure.
They go
down
and even say, look how dark it's getting. How deep does
We're
it
like
go?
3 miles underground.
They're like really going. Like it's a longer scene, so you get the sense that they're fucking down.
I mean,
there.
it's like it kind of. It's like The Descent, or like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Yeah, the other one you're just like, here's a mine shaft.
They set the tone.
Like there's a point where you feel like you are so far underground, like you're climbing up this endless ladder, and then there's like this, they get this underground lake. That's like they have like this makeshift like wooden walkway over scaffolding. And, like they really take you on all these different areas and variations of this mine and what it's like underground. So I did like that much better than the remake. I thought that was much more enjoyable. And they did a good job, like that's of actually, like actually covering up or trying to mislead you from Axel because of the Axel's fake death, which was trying to cover his story. So I give him credit for that too, to try to make that surprise a bit bigger. But so let's start wrapping this up. We're going a little longer than I intended with this, but I don't know how this is really good. If I mean,
this is our first time doing this.
I'm not even sure if I'm going to air this. If you're listening to this, I aired it. So what? So thank you for listening. But break it down. Which one did you prefer overall? Like, if you had to pick one, like which one was your? I know they're both different in similar same ways, and it's like not kind of like apples and oranges, but it's really not. It's more like maybe an apple and a green apple or something like that. Sour apple. I don't know, but
to be perfectly honest, I liked them both. I enjoyed watching both of them. I was actually surprised that I liked the 2009 one as much as I did, because you know me, I'm a fucking sucker for the 80s. I love the 80s movies. And I overall, I like the 81 version better. I'm not saying the 2009 version's bad. I just like the 81 version better because I already kind of talked about it. I like the mood. I like the feel. I like the characters a little bit more. Kind of like just kind of everything that went with it. Plus, I think the town has a real bad feral dog problem.
That's true. There's a scene where there's like a pack of dogs like eating on her.
Barking at the actor. The actor almost got bit.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
Like, holy
these
shit.
dogs are gonna bite the actor. There's like a scene there's an outtake if you've seen the outtakes of the Conan. It's either Conan the Barbarian or Conan, whichever one was the first Conan movie.
Conan the Barbarian, yeah.
There's an outtake on the DVD if you watch it, where a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger is being chased by a dog. And he's supposed to leap up onto this rock to get away from him. And the outtake, he misses the rock. He misses his jump, and the dog like attacks Arnold. Arnold is broken. He's like, God damn it, dog! He's like, he's getting mauled by this dog because it was a wildlife chase after him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Joel for that because he showed me that. It's one of my favorite clips of all time.
That's awesome.
I can't imagine what he says, but it's hilarious in his broken ass English as he gets mauled by a dog on set. But you're right. These dogs, like,
Yeah,
he's like he's like
shitload of dogs.
yeah. Jesus.
I like the 81 version better. I like the hearts in the box and oh my god, is it happening again? I like the suspense. I like the interaction between the sheriff and the mayor trying to keep a lid on it. Or do we do it? Do we not? Because the town needs to try and stay alive. It's a small town. They decide to shut down the dance.
But the 80s rebel kids won't be denied.
No,
Fuck that.
We're having a party.
We're having a party.
But yeah, it's the feeling of the dissension. We already touched on the good things that made it good, and that's the stuff I liked about it. Nothing wrong with the 2009 version. I just like the 81 version better. I'd say watch both of them. You know what? If you got nothing to do, it's Valentine's Day was yesterday, so go ahead and if you're still feeling the Valentine's mood this weekend, check them both out. Right now, it's available on.
They're both on Amazon.
They're both on Amazon, but also
Bloody Valentine. The remake is on Prime for free.
2009 is on Stars. If you have Stars, that's where I watched it.
See, I don't have the Stars at. So.
I got Stars.
I got Stars. Yes, I do. I got Stars. How about you?
No, you don't.
I don't. So in you're so. You answered my next question. So you're also agreeing that the 81 version holds up today.
I think it does. Yes, I think it's. There's a reason people love it. There's a reason a lot of people hold it in that high regard. I don't necessarily hold it as like a classic, but man, it's fun.
All right. I'm stumbling. I'm going to basically mirror your sentiments. I agree. Like I don't really know. I really enjoyed both of them more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I remember watching the 2009 one when it came out on DVD, like back in 2009. I was like, whatever. I don't remember thinking too much of it at the time. I would say it's longer than I thought. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. That's long for a horror movie. But it is paced pretty well. Like it doesn't feel that long. There's really no slow points. The kills are spaced out. It keeps it moving pretty well.
It starts off fucking fast.
Yeah, it does.
Man, it kicks you in the nuts right off the bat.
Yes, it does.
I was pretty surprised by that. I was like, holy, geez, buy a guy a drink first. Come on.
It just throws you down, bends you over, and takes you.
Yeah, it does.
And the original one, like I will say going into it, I was like, oh, this is probably gonna be such a because it was a slasher. There's so many, and they're trying to weed out the good ones from the bad. I was like, oh god, this is gonna be one of those like maybe one of those overhyped kind of boring bad slasher. But I agree, it was more enjoyable than I thought it would be. I remember I watched it again years ago and I didn't really like it, but I don't think I gave it a fair chance. I was like, this is blah. But rewatching, like I really did, like I enjoyed it as well. So I don't know if I think it holds up as well. I'm glad we've never featured either one of these on an actual episode of our show because they're not horrible. They're both solid horror movies. And some people make shit on the remake just because it's a remake because you're pure. It's like, oh, blah 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 blah.
And I really try to take myself out of that. I'm trying to really focus more on just the movie as itself by itself. Try and disregard the original. But just look at it on its own.
Well, let's look at it this way then. Let's look at the purest point of view. Do you think that it deserved a remake to begin with, or do you think they should have left it alone?
I don't mind a no mind. It had enough time it's almost 30 years later. You know what? I'm okay with it. And they changed it enough. I still wish they had a Hollis. Or they just could have named someone Hollis. Like the guy who bangs the hot chick in the beginning, the trucker whose name's Frank.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, is that Hollis? Because he's kind of a big burly guy. Just call him Hollis. Make me happy. But honestly, it never had a huge following, never had a sequel, never had anything like that. Yeah, I think it was worthy of a remake.
Okay. I do too, actually. I'm not big on remakes. Most of the remakes I don't like, or I don't think I need. Although some of them I do like, I might be the minority. Like the Friday the 13th remake back in, might have been 2010 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I mean, it was different. I wasn't like some people like, oh, it's garbage and blah blah blah.
But it's already so famous and established. Why are you doing a remake?
Well, I think they were trying to bring back, bring back the series for line up for a new line of sequels and new storyline, which I would have been good with. They would have done that, but they didn't. And then they were going to remake it again, and then all that shit happened. They got pulled, which really pissed me off because that one could have been good, maybe.
Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street remake got bombed. The Halloween remakes, Round Zombie ones, those are fucking polarizing. You hate them or you love them.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Seems like that's got a lot of horror fans torn.
Yeah, but I'm okay with this getting remade because it wasn't like Friday 13th and Nightmare. It didn't have like you said the original mass following. It was maybe a lesser it was known in the hardcore community,
more cult,
but your casual horror fan, your casual movie probably didn't really know of it, or so the remake is fine. Bring it back, and then I bet who watched the original like, you know what, I want to go back and watch the remake now.
Exactly.
So that gets more people watching the original.
Exactly.
So I'm okay with the remake. I like them both. They're both good in their own way. I think they hold up, both of them. Like I said, the kills in the second one are watching it alone for the kills. Those are some of the best kills I've ever seen.
It's a good kills.
Yeah, just some glorious kills. And there's a nude scene in there that's awesome. There's a girl that's running around naked in a motel for like 5 minutes. It's pretty great. So, yeah. So I think.
Oh, and a midget kill. A little person
midget.
kill.
I forgot about the midget.
She was not a good actor.
I was like, why is there a midget? Her dog was bigger than her.
I know.
And it was a small dog.
Yeah.
She barely picked it up. Like, why is there a midget? And why is the midget getting killed?
Because, hey, man, that's what they did not pull any punches with her.
Midget's dying too.
Oh boy,
Oh.
she died pretty spectacularly.
Yeah.
Pickaxe uppercut into the ceiling electrocution.
Yeah.
God damn.
That was a good one. Yeah, like I said, great kills that one. So it's definitely worth watching both of them, enjoying both. This went on longer than I thought. So if you still listening, thank you guys. Hopefully this wasn't too bad. It was our first time trying this little face-to-face, face-off showdown thing. And sadly though, for the first, we don't really have a winner. We're both agree they're both good. They're both working. So
yeah, I like the 81 version better.
All right, Aaron's leaning 80s. I'm probably leaning. Shit, I don't know. I'm not really leaning one or the other because they're so different in their own way and they're so similar. They're similar but different at the same time. It's hard to explain. But both very watchable. So
yeah, I agree. Both watchable. If you had to force me to pick one, I'd pick 81.
Okay. Maybe I might pick 81 just because it's shorter. If I had, because if I'm like,
that's not a good.
I know, but like if I'm
I got shit to do.
Yeah, like I like them both, but like seriously, like I do like them both, but like they said, the remake is an hour and 40 minutes, which the other one's like it's only 10 minutes different, but still, but it's like
that 10 minutes is important to you.
Fucking fine. I don't know. Fuck it, they're both good.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys, to this little bonus tidbit. We try it out. We might try this again, maybe if we find some other thing. Let us know if this was worth it. In the meantime, guys, we'll be back soon with an actual episode. So in the meantime, guys, as I can always say, watch more horror movies and to remember to always keep it tight.